This Toronto Blue Jays team apparently loves to stack losses and brutal ones. Catch of the year, possibly. We're going to discuss it all because somehow a player falls over and you still somehow want to give him catch of the year. What a joke. We're talking about it all today.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. As always, I'm Braden Iwasko. He's Carter First. You can find us on Twitter, Braden5 Iwasko. Carter First, too, as well on our main channel, or main X, or TikTok, or whatever you want to call it, at Locked On Jays, as well on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Blue Jays. As well, if you're new here to YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It really makes a difference, really helps us out. And it's free. You might as well do it. If you're listening anywhere else, go over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. It does make a difference. And yeah, you guys get your videos, your shorts, your live streams, your podcasts, the whole ordeal, because we got a lot to talk about in Blue Jays land today, because I have a feeling that a lot of you aren't happy. And that goes along right with what me and Carter are feeling. If some of you saw my TikTok or short or reel from last night, I think you can get my feeling on a lot of what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, we didn't really get in depth on the TikTok. We only have a minute, or the short or whatever, but we're going to dive in, because there's a lot of nothing to talk about is probably the best way to put this. This team sucked, and they have sucked for 8 of their past 9. And even in the game that they won, they looked bad most of the game. So, Carter, feelings, thoughts. You go into a new series, you think, hey, it's time to start new, and you get kicked in the teeth. Right? What's the Rocky saying? You know, it's not about how hard you can get hit. It's how hard you can get hit, keep going. This team gets hit hard and stays down. They stay in the ground, because this has been horrific, to say the absolute least.
Yeah, how hard can you get hit and keep getting up? Apparently not at all hard whatsoever. It's like this team has been going through a little bit of adversity this season, I guess, but it's mostly just been the offense being absolutely horrific. So the pitching has been going through that adversity. And now we're starting to see some blow-up starts from these pitchers, and now we're starting to see some of the worst baseball that we've seen. I keep like we say this every single episode, that just gets worse and worse and worse, that we're seeing the worst baseball we've seen all season. But the Jays have lost 8 of 9. It should be, honestly, 9 in a row. Devin Williams, thank God that he was pitching in that game, because the Blue Jays had no business winning that game whatsoever. And I don't care that they're good teams. I don't care that a lot of these teams could be playoff teams. At some point, like, this is just horrific. And that's why in the second segment, they were going to say what we would rather do than watch the Toronto Blue Jays right now, because there is probably a billion things that we could go over right now. And it's just the same story over and over and over again. We were kind of fighting a little bit on who we wanted to do the TikTok for today, this little short that we always try to post for you guys. And we could have did the same short and posted all 9 days in a row, I guess, other than the Yankees game. It's been the same story over and over and over again. This one, I guess, is a little bit different because Bowdin Francis, absolute blow-up day. You can't give up 5 home runs and expect to win a baseball game. And I guess Garrett Crochet is on the mound, but I'm sick of these, like, oh, like this happened. Like, oh, it was unfortunate for the Jays. We were in bad circumstances. This is horrible. Like, straight up, this team right now sucks. It's flatly, simply put, they suck. That's all you could say about the team, the offense, the pitching in the last couple of games. Again, I'm not going to blame the pitching too much, but I mean, the last, like, Bowdin Francis, Kevin Gausman, you can't have those days when you're on the mound either. So at some point, just everything has been just a bomb going on in the Toronto Blue Jays front office, Toronto Blue Jays roster right now. The Toronto Blue Jays just hopes to be a solid baseball team. And it's obviously leading to the question is, does somebody need to be fired? Does there need to be a big trade? Something needs to change. Obviously, we've been saying that for months, or not months, weeks on end at this point. And still, we continue to find ourselves watching baseball games that, honestly, you could just turn off in the 3rd inning, the way things are going right now.
Yeah, man. And you know what? At the end of the day, you know what? I'm going to get all the good now, okay? I'm going to say a couple of the good things that I have to say, a couple of the positives, so we're not just, slander this entire podcast, but let's talk about a couple of the good things. Okay, first of all,
I'm going to interrupt, but I got like 2 good things. I'll let you kind of go over whatever you want to go over, but I'm running out of things to say. Like, I'm so sick of these small victories that we're taking on these podcasts.
It's 2 good things. It's 2. There's
probably the same 2 I have then.
Number 1, Vladdy hit a home run. You wanted to see the power. It's starting to happen. Very slowly, but it's starting to happen. With 2 slow starters in Anthony Santander and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you want to see those guys get it ramped up. Bichette has been good. He's not hitting explosively, but for a leadoff hitter, he's sort of done the job. So I guess 3. Bichette's a little bit of a whatever one right now because we've gone over this, I think, in the last episode. Number 2, this team is still 13-16. It's not great, but it feels worse. So at the end of the day, there is still room for this team to make adjustments and try to dig themselves out. It's not completely gone, but it feels like it. So I guess, I don't know. Good thing, bad thing. The problem is it feels horrible because me and you talked about it today. We were on the phone. I was at work. We were talking about this after the game. And I said, you got to remember this team's still 13-16. And you're like, is it only 3 games? Like, it feels like we're 8 games under 500. And I'm like, I know. That's the feeling around this team because the losses have been so brutal, right? You feel like you're getting kicked in the teeth every time you're watching this Toronto Blue Jays team. Carter, me and you tomorrow, or I guess tonight when you guys are watching this, we're out golfing. We're having a good time. We come back. We're going to watch the Jays game. Then we got the Winnipeg Whiteout Party. And it's sort of like, and we got friends coming over, obviously, for the Whiteout. We're all going as a group tomorrow, or today, I guess, when you guys are watching this. And it's like we're going to put on the Blue Jays game on the big TV like we always do. But the problem is that it sucks because you sit there and you watch your favorite team get the crap beat out of them. And then you want to go and just be able to live your normal life. And again, maybe this is more so the fact that, hey, we talk about this team every day and we're so dialed into everything. But at the end of the day, being a fan of this team, if you're a person that wants to go and watch this team every day and watch every game, how are you feeling right now? Are you at the point where you're, like Carter said, turning this game off in the 3rd inning? Are you not watching games because you know how it's going to go? How are you guys feeling? Because we watch every game. We're huge baseball fans, not just Blue Jays fans, but huge baseball fans in general. So, but even at this point, it's getting hard for me and you, never mind the average fan, right?
Yeah, for today's game, if I wasn't getting paid and it wasn't our job to watch today's game, I'm turning today's game off for sure. There's at this point, how much longer are you going to wait for something to change when it's just, you're getting the same result over and over and over again? I always bring up the definition of insanity on this podcast. That's just what it feels like watching the Toronto Blue Jays games right now. And you brought up, obviously, the street party that we're going to. It's fine if we have the game on, but how are we supposed to expect our friends to watch this baseball game? It's just not even fair at all. We're putting them through torture. This is the worst thing we could possibly be doing to these people watching the Toronto Blue Jays games. They're getting beat 9-2, 10-2, 11-2, 9-1. It's not even close. It's like the Dunedin Blue Jays are playing out there right now. I think Dunedin might be better. It's so frustrating. And you said this team is only 3 games under 500. That's a dangerous statement. That's something that we heard a lot last season. And we're having a lot of the same similarities coming from last season. The lack of power, the lack of offense. And the bullpen is better. But at this point, when you're down 1,000,000 runs in the 7th inning, the bullpen's not really going to help you too much. You're not going to have Jeff Hoffman slip into the box in a grand slam. At least, it's not 5 years ago. He's not in the NL anymore. But it's so hard to say anything positive about this team. And the one other positive I was going to say, not the 13-16 part, is I guess the Daulton Varsho catch, which is positive and negative because this is the highlight that people are talking about from this game, the Daulton Varsho catch. And going over a great catch. I mean, you lose your balance, getting back to the ball is amazing. But the whole reason that we're talking about this is because he fell over. That's what happened to Daulton Varsho. And that's what the highlight of this baseball game, that the first thing that they talk about in the Sportsnet broadcast is, oh, rough game out there. But man, Daulton Varsho might have made the catch of the year. Who cares? I'm sorry. Good catch, Daulton Varsho. Props to you. Congratulations for being back. Nice to see him in the batter's box. But if that's what you're talking about after a Toronto Blue Jays game, we're in a very low place as a fan base right now.
Carter, and to be honest, everybody talking about, catch of the year. I'm sorry. It can't be catch of the year when you put yourself out of position to have to make a crazy play. And don't get me wrong, it is a great catch, but everything leading up to that was a misstep. That to me is not catch of the year. So anybody saying that, don't listen to him because that is absolute BS. He did that to himself and he made up for it. Great. He made the catch. Great. Awesome. But it's not catch of the year. Let's not kid ourselves. and it won't be. It is great to see Daulton Varsho back. He's trying to get his footing. You saw him in AAA and whatever else, making great catches. He's going to do that. He is an elite defensive player, so I'm not taking anything away from him. It's his first game back with the big club. So I'm not slandering him. That cannot be catch of the year. I'm sorry. It cannot be. And Carter, yeah, you're 100% right. If that's your big takeaway from this baseball game, and we got a long way to go. And you know what? I'm trying to come on here, and I don't want to be, Mr. Piss Poor attitude, but it's
how can't you be?
Yeah, and there'll be people that'll tell us there goes, oh my goodness, a lot of negativity. And you know what? We got a great. I got to give a shout out here on our Instagram. Somebody DM'd us. Name's Katie. She had a really nice message just talking about how this team, there are players that are notoriously slow starters. She still has faith in the team. She still wants to see them do well. And hopefully that it can bring a little bit of positivity back to our podcast. And you know what, Katie, I cannot agree with you more. I really hope that this turns around and that, what it looks like right now isn't what we're going to get all season. But at the same point, it's tough to believe that. And it's tough to be the John Schneider and the Ross Atkins and the Vladdies and the whoever else that say it's the start of the year. This team will get going eventually. It's like we heard that enough last year. And I know, Carter, I know you have a quote, so please read it for us. If you have it available, I think it's from John Schneider, and there's a couple other ones also from Daulton Varsho that we can get into as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go over the John Schneider one and kind of go off of what you said there. So it's from Keegan Matheson. John Schneider liked the Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. swings tonight, but knows the Blue Jays need to score. He says, I think everyone wants to be the one who stops it. You know what I mean? You've got to continue to pull for one another. The work is good. The prep is good. The attitude is good. I don't know how the attitude's still holding up right now. Congrats to them, I guess, for still holding on. I can't imagine Chris Bassitt has good attitude right now. I want to know what that guy is thinking right now. I know he's not pitching every single game, but just watching this offense, watching this team play baseball, he can't be on top of the moon whatsoever. And about the attitude of this baseball team, it is early, all that kind of stuff. It is still April at the end of the day. That is something that is tough to ignore, but I'm done with the positivity at this point until we see anything. Just something. It doesn't have to be a win even. If we lose 6-3, I'd be like, oh my God, 3 runs. That's honestly where I'm at right now. I know I said I'm tired of taking the small victories, but I mean, maybe we need a couple small victories to start getting those bigger ones and start getting to the actual baseball games that you're going to end up winning. So I'm not going to get mad or upset about anyone being negative on this team, saying this team is terrible, saying they suck, because right now they do. And they have not been fun to watch, even remotely, for the last 9 baseball games, I guess, other than the 9th inning against Devin Williams. But again, I'm not going to get mad or upset about anyone kind of crapping on this baseball team right now, because they fully deserve it. And I'm not ready to say anything or too many things positive about this team right now until they actually show us that they can be an actual Major League Baseball team that deserves to be in the leagues. Right now, man, they're looking, like I said, the Dunedin Blue Jays out there.
And Carter, you brought up the fact of how is anybody positive about this team and how are the players, how are they feeling? And I'm going to talk about something coming back from break, and then that'll lead us into what would you rather do? I don't know. I'm making this like a game show, I guess. What would you rather do than watch this Toronto Blue Jays team? Stick around with us because, I think it's a good point that'll really affect how you think the mentality is on this team moving forward. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. You guys have heard us talk a lot about Monarch Money, even if it is in the title sponsor and talking about giving, 50% off. It's a great deal. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's so easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. This is something that I struggle with. I mean, I think everybody on a day-to-day basis struggles with is knowing, what can I go spend my money on? Am I making too many, one-off, these little purchases that end up adding up in the end, right? I've got a hat problem. I buy a lot of hats. And I noticed, I'm like, 2 hats now cost me almost $100. It's horrendous. So it's something I got to look out for, and hopefully this will help you guys out as well. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, spending, all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code Locked On MLB for half off your first year. Carter, I want to take you back to a couple games ago before we get into what would you rather do than watch the Toronto Blue Jays. And this goes back to the game that John Schneider and Kevin Gausman both get tossed from some of the bad umping calls. And the reason I'm bringing you back to this is if this is a situation where the Toronto Blue Jays are in a good position and are winning baseball games, I don't think those blow-ups happen, at least from Kevin Gausman. You saw Vladdy, hands in the air, throwing it up. This is a team that looks like they are frustrated. And Kevin Gausman not getting a couple calls, I think just sent them over the rails. So I think when you talk about mentality and the mentality of a baseball player and how this team's mentality is moving throughout this year, I think you can physically see this team struggling. And I think the frustration builds as your team continues to struggle. And I think seeing Kevin Gausman do what he did is a prime example. And we're not even talking about Chris Bassitt. You were right. Chris Bassitt's probably fuming out of the ears right now. But Kevin Gausman, to lose control a little bit like that of his emotions is not something you necessarily see very often. And I think that's a big contributor or a big repercussion of what has happened throughout this season so far.
Yeah, you can just tell like the tensions have been higher on the mound again. And it's that same notion that we always talk about is that these pitchers got to feel like they can't make a mistake right now. As soon as you give up 2-3 runs, then like the way the offense has been playing, it's just they have absolutely no chance. And for guys like Kevin Gausman, for guys like Chris Bassitt, you can even throw Jose Berrios in there now. Max Scherzer, if he ever, comes back to pitch, whatever. But these guys are veterans. These guys at this point do not care about anything else other than winning. They don't care about the career accolades at this point. They've already accomplished enough. They don't care really, like mostly about personal stats. Obviously, they want to still pitch well, but they're not going to necessarily care too much about like a Cy Young or whatever. The ultimate goal is a World Series. And if you're Kevin Gausman, when you signed here with the Toronto Blue Jays, when you had George Springer, when you had Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Bichette was supposed to be one of the best players on this team at this point. Bichette, Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, you signed up for a baseball club that was going to be competitive, that you thought was going to have a World Series window. And the way things have gone throughout Chris Bassitt's entire tenure, Kevin Gausman's entire tenure, even like the George Springer tenure, that's a little bit on him because, again, he hasn't really performed up to standards. But these guys have definitely got to be frustrated with their entire experience with the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's only gotten worse. 2022, this least this team could hit. 2023, we thought this might be the worst offense that we're going to see for a significant period of time. You can make the argument that 2024 and 2025 so far, 2025 for sure has been worse than 2023. So I feel for these guys, especially nearing the end of their careers, especially when they still have a couple years left with the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a very tough situation to be in for these veteran players. But before we do go into what would you rather do, I do want to talk about Bowdin Francis because, we have to talk about it, unfortunately. You give up 5 home runs in a game, you can't just let that slide. And I know we've been talking a lot about the offense, about how they've been lackluster, how the production hasn't been there. For this one, you're Bowdin Francis. You're down 7-0 in the second, and you got Erik Crochet on the mound. There's no chance. Like, that's just what it is. The offense, you can't blame the offense necessarily for this game whatsoever. I know you only get 4 hits, whatever, but it's impossible to come back from a 7-0 baseball game. And with Bowdin Francis, it almost felt like right away, as soon as Jarren Duran hit that home run, it just felt like the confidence was completely gone. It felt like he was not going after hitters. He was not locating nearly as much as he has been in the past. The command kind of got out the window. And I quickly just wanted to go over Bowdin Francis because I was talking to you about this off camera here for the podcast. Just about every single time Bowdin Francis gives up a run, it's like the game's over. It's like, oh, I can't pitch anymore. They figured me out. Like, that's it. Like, the towel, I got to throw in the towel here. They know exactly what I'm going to throw. Because Bowdin Francis, after he gives up his first run, he had 16 innings pitched after that first run, given up 13 earned runs, 22 hits, 3 walks. That is a 1.56 whip and a 7.31 ERA. This compared to obviously before he gives up the first run, which obviously just based off the way we're doing this, before giving up 1 run, the stats should be better, but just going over what they are. He has 14.2 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 6 walks. The whip here is what I really want to talk about. This 0.77 whip. He almost has double. He has double the whip when he gives up 1 run. You can tell he's just allowing base runners. He's walking a lot more people. He's allowing those hits. Bowdin Francis, as soon as he gives up 1 run, like, we're almost having the conversation. Do you have to take this guy out? Like, it's clearly a mental thing that gets about in Bowdin Francis' head. As soon as he gives up 1 run, like, the dam breaks, and that's it for Bowdin Francis. All the runs are coming in, and he starts blowing up, and it gets even worse and worse and worse. And especially is worse when you have him on your fantasy team and you're playing Braden in our friends league.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'd throw that in, obviously.
Yeah, it's a good one for me, but a bad one for my mental health, I guess. No,
Yeah, I'm taking the Jays win over like any Blue Jays
don't-
doing well in fantasy, obviously. Like, who cares about my fantasy team if the Jays aren't winning?
Absolutely. I'm the same way. It could be me and Carter in the finals, and if the Blue Jays got a win, I'd be all right with it. And no, you're 100% right. It's a confidence thing, and maybe this is a thing that, again, this guy hasn't been in the league very long. This is probably a learning curve here, where you have to just be able to trust your stuff and trust that you're going to get out of it. And he just seems like he can't. He can't. As soon as that first run goes in, and most of the time it's a home run, it's everything out the window. So no, I couldn't agree more. This is a situation here, and honestly, over this past week, we have seen this pitching staff struggle. So we need to see a bounce back from them, but also the offense has to be good in front of them. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you give up 2 runs or you pretty much have to go scoreless to have a chance at winning a baseball game. So that can't be a good feeling to have either. But Carter, it is time to play. What would you rather do than watch the Toronto Blue Jays? Before we get into some more in our third segment, we got a couple quotes from Daulton Varsho as well that we want to get into, plus a Blue Jays addition to their roster. So we'll talk about that in the third segment as well. But Carter, let me ask you this. Okay, I'll pitch you a quick question here. What would you rather do than watch this Toronto Blue Jays baseball team?
Yeah, I'm going to start off slow, and then we're going to start heating up. So I'm going to start. I rather stub my toe than just watch the Jays play.
Okay. I think I would rather step on a Lego piece.
I would rather have an egg cracked in my head every time I wake up rather than watch the Toronto Blue Jays right now.
Yeah, I would rather probably drive my car off a bridge into the ocean. I ramped it up.
That's a pretty big jump. I was just going to go with the classic. I'd rather watch paint dry, but I'm going to rifle off a few here. I'd rather get hit by a golf ball by Braden again than watch this baseball team right now. I'd rather watch Adam Simber be our closing pitcher than watch the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball right now. I'd rather do the 999 challenge for a month straight than watch the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball right now. I'd rather watch Tanner Roark start an entire playoff series rather than watching the Toronto Blue Jays right now. I'd rather tell my girlfriend she's gained weight and deal with that.
Jesus.
Than watch Toronto Blue Jays right now. I'd rather tell my mom that her cooking was disgusting than watch Toronto Blue Jays right now. I can keep going. I can continue. I'll throw it back over to you. You've got any more ringers? I got 2 more that I'm going to throw out to end it.
Yeah, I would rather see Bradley Zimmer play every position for this Toronto Blue Jays team than watch the current roster go at it. I would rather, you know what? I'm not going to beat the girlfriend one. That one's actually, the food one might be the craziest, because I think I would get a beating if I said that to my mother.
Yeah, and I'd still take it rather than watching the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball right now, because it's that bad. The other 2 aren't that bad. I got over, those 2 were my ending ones, but I'd rather count all the blades of grass in my lawn right now than watch Toronto Blue Jays. And then I'd rather get sentenced to hard labor, like whether it's, send me to Alcatraz, do some hard labor. I'd rather do that right now than watch the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball. So I think that's it. That's our segment. What would you rather do than watch the Toronto Blue Jays be the worst baseball team to debatably ever exist right now? Maybe we gotta, get the high school guys that we were training and gave them that tryout. Maybe they give the Blue Jays a run for their money right now. Maybe that's what they need. Like how college football teams, before they start the season, they go out and they just play the worst school of all time, beat them 56-0. Maybe the Toronto Blue Jays just need to play like a high school team. Maybe not even a high school team. Maybe that's a little crazy. Maybe they might lose there. You don't want the confidence to go down anymore. Let's get our beer league softball team out there. I'll make a couple plays. I'll show them what some hard is. And then, obviously I'll end up taking the L to get their confidence back up.
This is what they do. All right. They give us a call. They say, hey, put together your best 9. And I'm like, I'll put together my worst 9. And then we'll go out there, me, you, we got Dallin Wilton, Justin Powers, Jarvis Iwasco, Skylar Peters.
And what, we lose 1-0?
Yeah, I pitch an absolute gem. That's what happens. I might go scoreless.
No, unfortunately, I'm not going to toot your own horn here. I just think that nobody's going to get hits. That's just what's going to happen. And it's going to be Bowdin Francis is going to give up 1 home run. He's going to pitch that game.
Yeah.
So we're gonna lose 2-1 actually instead.
Dowell's going to swing out of his shoes. He's going to luckily clobber a ball. It will hit the top of the fence, and Daulton Varsho will trip again, and Dowell will make it all the way home.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, obviously, if you guys have been kind of getting the vibe from this podcast, is that things, like we keep saying it, things can't really get much worse right now. Like, what else? Just, let's make it 9 out of 10. Like, let's hurt me even more. Let's make it 10 out of 11. And you're playing the Boston Red Sox. Again, things don't get a whole lot easier. These are massive division games that you are playing right now. And the April games mean the exact same in the win column as the ones in September do. And at some point, if you're going to continue to play this brand of baseball, it's not going to be early anymore. It's going to be too late. And that is going to be a problem for this baseball team.
Yeah, well, all right. Let's take a quick break. Let's come back. We got the roster move to tell you guys about, and a quick quote from Daulton Varsho before we get out of here for the day, because tomorrow, like I keep talking about, obviously we have the game tonight, and then we also have we got to talk about Ross Atkins. It's time, and we got to put him on blast. We got to have a conversation and really dive into it. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and let you guys know all of that right away.
Today's episode is sponsored by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each one-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. I've been eating them while I'm watching movies, and obviously I've said this on the podcast multiple times, but I've been on the golf course right now. I have been hammering golf because I don't start work until May 5th. So I got a little bit of time between obviously working my full-time job and being able to get on the golf course all the time. So what have I been doing for my convenient snack? I have been going with Wonderful Pistachios no shells variety. It has been perfect. You always have dirty hands playing golf. My golf glove, I don't usually like taking it off. I'm one of those weirdos that still keeps it on with the putting green. So I can just open the bag up, pour them directly into my mouth. Don't have to obviously touch anything. And it keeps me satiated and filled up for the entire round. Another nice thing about Wonderful Pistachios is that they are complete protein and they provide all 9 essential amino acids. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
So, Carter, as we continue on with the podcast, obviously we got a roster move to tell you about, plus a quote from Daulton Varsho that you pulled following his either catch of the year or fall and, I don't know, nice catch, whatever you want to call it. So, which one do you want to start with?
Now, I got the Daulton Varsho one ready to go here. So, yeah, obviously, good catch, good recovery, but in our books, not the catch of the year candidate. I do think it is going to be talked about in the catch of the year candidate. You said it wasn't going to be. I think this is something that's going to be played a lot. I think the people are going to love this play by Daulton Varsho. But anyway, that's each to their own. This is what tweet from Keegan Matheson. Daulton Varsho on what was going through his mind as he fell making that spectacular catch. And he just said, I said a profanity word. There's probably a lot of words that were Daulton Varsho was thinking in that moment. Again, very good recovery, but again, he's the one that put himself in that situation. Maybe it's just because he hasn't played a whole lot of outfield, obviously, in the last little bit. So definitely giving him a break there, and then you make the play. So what is there to be mad about? Daulton Varsho went out there and made a play. But there was a roster move, as you did say, and it was Casey Lawrence coming back to the Toronto Blue Jays. Very interesting signing. Obviously, we do like the trial and the error notion on this podcast, but Casey Lawrence, 37-year-old, came from the Seattle Mariners, has 10 innings pitched in 4 games this year. Two games of those were pitched against the Toronto Blue Jays. So far, the season does have around a 3.6 ERA, but over his career has like a 7 ERA. So again, you claim this guy, he's got optioned by the Seattle Mariners. I guess you're taking a shot here. But with Paxton Schultz, the way he was playing, he gets sent down to AAA. I don't know if this move really changes the needle for me. Again, it's one of those bullpen moves you're trying to get a lower leverage arm to kind of stick. So you can't necessarily hate it too much, but it's one of those things where you look at the rest of his career, you look at how things have gone, he hasn't really had a lot of success. Unfortunately, I don't know if maybe it's a difference between the Seattle Mariners. Maybe Casey Lawrence is going to do the thing that we did the Seattle Mariners with Yimi Garcia, going over there and being an absolute spy and just throwing baseball games for them. Hopefully that doesn't happen here, but I'm not overly optimistic, unfortunately, about Casey Lawrence, especially what he did in that Wednesday game.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he goes 2 2/3 innings, but gives up 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He gets a strikeout, but it didn't look like anything special, to say the absolute least. So again, Carter, I don't want to be too upset, but I can't really help it right now. So I'm sorry if this is just a lot of complaining for you guys. We try to make it a little bit fun. We try to, add a little bit of something to this. It isn't just us screaming at our computers or our walls. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And let us, leave a comment down below. Tell us how you guys are feeling. I know we've gotten a bunch over the last couple of days. We'll probably have to do a mailbag at some point just to talk about some of your guys' comments. We might, I think maybe we even do a couple tomorrow, Carter. I think that's a pretty good idea because you guys have given us tons of comments and we have seen them all. We go over them. Sometimes we have a chuckle and we send them to each other if they're really good. So we'll go over a couple of them tomorrow. We'll talk Ross Atkins. We got a lot coming tomorrow's episode of the Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Carter, before we kick out of here, do you got anything left for the people?
Yeah, I do want to talk about one more thing quickly, and it's just who's pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays on Wednesday, because it is set up to be a bullpen game. But now, unfortunately, with Bowdin Francis, going 3 innings, you did kind of use a lot of those bullpen arms. So it is going to be interesting to see with who they do go with. I know they have the option of a guy like Josh Walker. Maybe they throw him in there to start. You do have Yariel Rodriguez available. So that's what I'm assuming they're going to go with, is like some kind of combination between the two of them, unless somehow we do get another roster move. But I don't think that makes a lot of sense right now. I think it will be Josh Walker, Yariel Rodriguez. So we'll have to see how that does pan out. I guess I'll just throw it over to you for your last couple thoughts. Like, are you optimistic about the pitching matchup that we do have for the Wednesday game?
No, not at all. It's Giolito. It's no one for the Blue Jays or whoever it might be. I mean, maybe you can see something from Yariel Rodriguez, and we will see. But I think realistically, if you're looking at this series, it's game 3. That's your biggest take advantage game. Tanner Houck has been horrible. So we'll see what he can do coming up. But like Carter said, and I said, we appreciate all you guys watching and listening or tuning into the podcast, the shorts, the live streams, everything that we have done lately. We really appreciate it because, we're putting in our time. We're watching this team every single game, every single day. And you know what? It's a grind right now, but you're hoping that there will be fruits from whatever, what's the saying, the fruits of my labor or whatever it is. Yeah. Hopefully eventually we will get some fruit. It turns out we're just getting like coal right now. It's like Santa's dropping a big pile of coal outside my door. So it is what it is. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be in a little bit of better spirits.